This is the colors of the Clark. Whoa. Hi, welcome to FiberLoveDiary. I'm Trish if we haven't met, and if we have met, welcome back. How are you? How are you for real? What are you working on? What are you doing? Check out my hair. I just came home in the rain. This is what it looks like. I'm about to start a new weaving project and I'm really excited about it. Luther's about to take a nap, apparently. So I thought I would just share the whole process right down to the unboxing with you. How long ago did I order this? May. I ordered this in May. Oh my gosh, okay, so it's been a minute. We've been working on the studio. I have a bunch of stuff I haven't unboxed that's coming for future videos. This is one of the things. I hope everything is here because it's gonna be hard to explain why I didn't open it for how many months? 3 months? But let's just do it anyway. I got this from Camilla Valley Yarns or Camilla Valley Farm. And if you get Ply magazine, wait, was it Ply? No. If you get Handwoven magazine, they were actually like featured in it because the last, I think it was the last issue was a plaid issue. I don't want to go into the whole plaid tartan thing, but oh, we're back to waving the knife. Okay, I don't even know how to tell you the whole story without rambling, but I'm gonna try. John and I, quite a few years ago, did the 23andMe DNA test thing where you spit in a tube and then they send you your like ethnic makeup back in the form of an email. And we always knew that, well, we always thought we knew anyway, that John was a good chunk Scottish, which turned out to be true, and that I was a good chunk Irish and English, which also turned out to be true. But my surname is Irish, my surname I was born with. So he's a Clark. I decided after I got the floor loom that I was gonna weave the Clark tartan, and then I was born a Geary, and the Geary name originates from County Sligo in Ireland. At least that's what I could find when I did research. Do we any of us really know if that stuff is true? I mean, not really. I'm also gonna weave a tartan for Sligo. The problem is I've seen more than one for Sligo, and I think I might be missing a color, but let's do it anyway. You want to? So I ordered the colors that I thought I needed. I might have to order one more for mine, but we're gonna do the Clark one first anyway. Both of them have the same blue, and I think mine has, well, I've seen two different ones. The Geary has black and like a yellow, and then the Clark is black, white, and blue. And then the Sligo one that I saw was originally black, blue, and yellow. And then I just recently saw one where the color that I just recently saw a different one where the same threads that were black in the first one are actually like a really, really dark red. So I might go ahead and order the red and decide later. I know, I'm rambling. I told you I probably couldn't do it without rambling. Here we are. Shipping to Canada or from Canada is insane. Like, I don't even live that far from Canada, and it's just as expensive to ship to like Ontario, which is like really close, as it is to ship to Great Britain or Australia. Figure that out. Somebody's making bank in Canada. Oh look, oh, I can use this. Awesome. So when I wind the warp, I'm going to use, I found this register of tartan where they'll give you a really good close-up picture of what the structure should look like so I can count, you know, for the warp. Anyway, so all right, let's see. I have no idea really what I'm doing, just FYI to all of you. Most of you know that. Unless you're new, you already know that anyway. What am I doing? Who am I? I don't even know. Here's my packing slip. Okay. Let's tell you how much I spent. Oh, do I want to? $136.60. Holy smokes. Let's not talk about it. Okay, so this is Old Blue. The one thing is the light that I'm getting off, I have the ring light on and it's definitely making it look brighter than it is in my little viewfinder, but this is the Old Blue and this is the color that they had in common. And I'm not an expert in natural dyes or like really, you know, I'm just not an expert in any of that stuff, but my understanding is that in the region, this color would have been dyed with woad traditionally. Because, you know, regionally, natural dyes, it has to be something you can find there. So these are all the same color. I got 4 of these. Oh, and I shipped it expedited so that I could wait 3 months to open it. What the hell? Because at the time, I thought both of them had black. I got 2 cones of black. These are really kind of nice. They're white. I mean, it's really not white. It's like, you know, ecru, like it would be. This one is the gold. So the gold was only in the Sligo. It is not in the Clark. This is the colors of the Clark tartan. I'm really actually excited. I'm gonna go count my strings and let's go wind the warp. And also cross your fingers that I finally get a warp on that floor loom that I feel like happy and excited about, because I haven't done that yet. But maybe this is the time. So I'm gonna wind a warp for the Clark tartan today. Clark is not really a clan. It is the group of clerics from the church. So there were Clarks/clerics all over the country, even though it's a small country. This is just what I've read also. I'm not a historian. So there are multiple versions of the Clark tartan. The one he identifies with or picked or whatever you want to say is the blue, black, and white one. I couldn't find a draft for it anywhere. I literally looked everywhere, including handweaving.net. They have a different one. So I pulled a picture of an official one up and literally counted threads so that I could get it worked correctly. Also, in case you guys are wondering why I'm lisping, I have my Invisalign in. Sorry. And you might wonder what this thing is behind me. I bought a warping mill. I bought this warping mill because I wanted to be able to wind really big hanks of sock yarn so that I could dye self-striping sock yarn. And then I was like, I've never tried a warping mill for the floor loom. I have tried some other methods, but since I have it, I thought might as well try it, right? You don't know until you try. But in case you don't know what this is, the goal is to start at the top or the bottom, it doesn't actually matter. You make a cross so that your threads stay organized. You'll see how it works. And then go around it and then come down to this little post, or vice versa. If you want to start at the bottom, it doesn't really matter, and loop around and go back up. So what I want to do is, I know I want a 10-foot warp. So the first thing I'm going to do is measure a string and get it positioned on the mill so that I have 10 feet on it. And then I can use that as a guide to do the warping. But I wrote down the thread sequence when I counted them in the Clark tartan, and I'm going to use my written out instructions. Lord willing, I'll get it right. That always kind of freaks me out because this one's only 3 colors, but it's very complicated. So fingers crossed. Let's wind a warp. Okay, so I've measured 5 feet, and what I'm actually gonna do is just go back to the beginning. So I have 10 feet, and then I wanna give myself a couple inches to tie on. So I'm probably gonna give myself like 3 inches for that and cut this. Oh, do you see this? I pulled it out and it has wool stuck to it. No way, right? So this is going to be my measuring tool to get the warp situated on the mill correctly. So I tied a slip knot. It's going to go over the top. I'm going to start at the top. You don't have to though, you can start at the bottom. So I think I'm gonna start under over. Yeah. And then, oops, this is too close. We're gonna go around till perfect. Look at that. That is perfect. So I'm gonna go ahead and just tie this right here. I guess let's go. So I'm starting with white. There's lots of videos on this, but basically I want to tie 4. So I'm just taking something that's really contrasting so I can see it really well. This is the one where every inch it crossed so that I can separate it over the rattle, which I actually use a warping bar for a rattle. But I also want to tie the cross in 4 places, so top, bottom, because I do not want this cross to disappear. It's like real important. I undid the wing nut so that I can turn this to slide the warp end off, and then I'm going to chain it. We're set to go. It's so scary to take this off. I don't know why I feel that way, but my chain or my cross is like preserved, so it's kind of silly. It's safe. It's tied, it's safe, but it's just scary to take off. Weird. While on the bar, I should have also tied in here, and I took it off, my fingers in it, so I'm gonna do it right now. I'm just gonna use one of these. It's perfect. That wasn't smart at all, but it's gonna be okay. I didn't. Okay, so now my warp is completely tied and chained, and I can transfer it to my loom. I'm gonna try and film each step of this, but remember, I'm not an expert yet. That's gonna take a lot more practice. Alright, first I am gonna take my apron beam and wind it up some. Okay, I want to make sure I am below the rattle. I am gonna use my warping bar as a rattle because I already have one. This is one we cut some grooves into. We were trying something with it that didn't work, but the next step is I have this dowel. It's the same length as my apron bar, and I will just pass it through that top loop of my warp that I tied at the very end. Okay, that's all right. So now I'm gonna untie this one so I can spread it out over the dowel. So that's on the dowel that is going to be attached to the apron beam, and that's next. And what I want to do is put this apron beam up so that I can tie it. All right, so I had the break off. Now I'm going to wind it back so the apron beam is up against my little dowels. That just helps me tie it on and hold it really steady. It's kind of nice that way. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is insert the leaf sticks. I have mine tied together with shoelace, or I guess this is not shoelace, it's paracord. So I'm going to untie them and I'm going to insert them in the cross. If you remember, I tied these in 4 places so that I wouldn't lose that cross. So what I'm going to do is find those ties and basically like pull them apart and insert my leaf stick into one. And then I'm going to do the same thing up at the top one. See that? And I am going to just get into that cross. I need to preserve, let me show you. I need to preserve this cross because this is what keeps my threads in order. So then I put the leaf sticks in a figure 8. The string that holds them together is in a figure 8. I don't feel like I want to untie those yet, do I? I guess I have to. So I'm in my cross, my leaf sticks are in. Okay, and I actually like to pass these through to the other side. I find it a little easier that way. I'm gonna release my brake just a little. Give myself enough slack to lift over. Okay, now this is my center. I want to move these. I'm going to start on the other end, so I got to move to the other side really fast. All right, so this is where this 1-inch separator comes in. Definitely should not have tied this in a knot, but we're okay. All right. So I am going to move 1 inch of the warp at a time. And I can literally, at this point, start winding it on. I can't believe I'm already there. How is that possible? Okay, I'm down at the end. See this? I don't want to lose my leaf stick, so I'm just actually going to tie my warp to make sure that it can't slip out somehow. in a bow. So I also know I can get it out easily. Because for threading, these are still holding my threads in the exact order that I want to thread. So I want to keep this in here. I'm going to quickly wind back a little further. Okay, that's where I want to be. So this way, as I thread, all right, this is where I want to be. So I am right in front of my heddles, and I am going to be able to just pull these off thread by thread and thread my heddles. So it's exactly what I want. I'm so happy. That was not hard at all. Phew. I'm going to take out my warping bar and then I'm just going to thread heddles. That's so boring. It's a twill pattern, so it's going to be just 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 all the way across. So that's next. I'm not going to film it because it's pretty simple. I can't believe I didn't catch this. I'm going to do my best to explain what happened. So you probably can't tell, but I am 2 threads short on this black stripe right here. But what's crazy, and let me just show you, I skipped a slot in my reed, which is only a few strands over. But I'm gonna have to rethread everything after I add one in here, and I was trying to decide, like, can I just stand it? Am I really truly gonna be able to see that? Is it gonna bother me? It's gonna bother me if it's not perfect. That's just the truth. So I covered the microphone hole here, so I'm just gonna voice over and tell you what happened. At this point, I just decided I was gonna add those 2 strands, and it means I have to move all the rest of the strands to the edge over. But I took that opportunity to add some floating selvages as well, and I was just talking about it and basically babbling. So I need to fill another black bobbin. I'm going to stop, and I thought I'd just quickly show you. My selvages are not as perfect as I would like them to be, but they're not terrible. And I think a little bit of it's going to even out during washing and fulling. So I just wanted to quick show you what it's looking like. Isn't it looking cool though? I just scared Luther. All right, so I've thought a lot about this. I'm gonna cut it from the back because I wanna leave a lot of extra. I think what I'm gonna do is zigzag over the hem stitch I just did a couple times, like twice, and then cut maybe just like short, you know, fringe, maybe, I don't know, 1/2 inch to 1 inch fringe, and let it kind of just fray. Okay, here we go. I am gonna pull this out. Oh goodness, talk about popping through. Ready? Oh my gosh, I did it. I totally did it. I just want it known. I did this. I made this. I freaking made this. I know I'm like a kid, but oh my gosh, so proud of myself. All right, I'm gonna cut the other end off and we're gonna get this in a hot soak. I'm gonna full it a little bit, so I wanna get it in hot water. Oh, look at that scarf in the sink. It is definitely shedding a lot of fibers. Can you see all around the edge of the sink? I am gonna full it a little. I'm just gonna bang it around in the sink once it's like done and rinsed. All right, so here's the finished scarf. I have yet to trim the fringe. I wanna like, you know, comb it out straight and trim it straight. I'm gonna leave like a 1/2 inch of fringe, I think. And so this is the other end. And I need to weave in the, this is the yarn that I hem stitched with. So I have to weave that in, and I have to weave in one end that I didn't tuck in while I was weaving. So a couple of things about this scarf. First of all, it's still a little damp. I mean, that's fine. It's still a little damp. I am really, really happy with how it looks. Look, there's already dog hair on it. That's funny. My selvages are not perfect. I think that's just something that I'm still working on. But let me show you a little bit of what they kind of look like. They're just not as straight and perfect as I'd like them to be. I know I could get a temple, but I also know if I just practice, you know, I'll get there on my own. So I just need more practice on that. And I don't think John's gonna mind because they don't look bad. You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't look bad. So that's one thing. My warp ends per inch is further apart. That's the wrong words, but the ends per inch are fewer going this way than this way. So it's not a perfect tartan. I did know that that was happening pretty early on, and I'm still okay with it, and he loves it. So it's not a big deal, but it makes it not perfect. Let's put it that way. And otherwise, I am really, really happy. So I don't know, you guys, success, huh? This means that I am about to wind a warp for some dish towels too. I want to do a set of Christmas dish towels ASAP. So yeah, but I did do one thing right that I was like so nervous about when I first started. Sounds so dumb, but when I was starting, I was like, okay, I want to make sure that I start and end in the same place on the pattern so that if the two ends of the scarf are hanging like near each other, I'm in the same place. Does that make sense? Like if it ended, I don't know, like this, I wouldn't have liked how that looked. So, and I did not mess that up. So, you know, small victories, I guess. I did enjoy this. It was actually pretty magical. And I feel like Dolly and I really connected with warping. So I'm feeling good about that. We'll be back to weave again soon. I'm thrilled to pieces. Thanks guys for joining me for this. I love you. Bye.